Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me tell me to. Aqua Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Some Babunu Bayakima, get it to one day. Me,
Mavinya, Mabia, Kanuana,
guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Tikana, live against him so good. Yacho, me play watching.
Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. In the time it's all. Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me tell me to. Aqua Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. Sagana Beya, I am in your mind, Papa, let's see your tax. I am a missing a carpenter, hairdress and barbering. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
I'm a messing boy. Feed like a world of beef.
Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Guarantee. In the time it's all. Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me tell me to. Aqua Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me tell me to. Aqua Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Some Babunu Bayakima, get it to one day. Me,
Mavinya, Mabia, Kanuana,
guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Tikana, live against him so good. Yacho, me play watching.
Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. In the time it's all. Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Siku Papa, a human hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me tell me to. Aqua Papa, Siku Guarantee. Hey, I'll pay my tax.
What a tax me feel.
Akwa papa, siku papa, human the hospital papa. Guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Akwa papa, siku papa, human the hospital papa. Guarantee. Hey, I'll pay my tax. Papa, siku papa, human hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Akwa papa, siku papa, human hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes.
What did I got the cute? What a tax me feel.
I am me.
Mavinya, Mabia, Kanuana.
Guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax.
Tikana live against him so good. Yacho me play oji.
Guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax.
Minamia China Gana Naiji.
Akwa papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Akwa papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax. So Ghana be ya, hey me liwo. Your mind papa, let's see your tax. I am a missing a carpenter, hairdress and balcony. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
Inazama messing boy. Fita ke welda be fair.
Guarantee me. I will pay my tax.
Minamia China Gana Naiji.
Guarantee me. Guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax.
What a tax me feel.
Akwa papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Akwa papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax. Papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, me tell me to. Akwa papa, siku papa, human in the hospital papa, guarantee. Hey, I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes.
What did I got the cute?
Some mabunu ba human, get it to one day.
What a tax me feel. finye, mabia, kanuana.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Tikana live against him so good. Yacho me play oji.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax. Everybody gets a guarantee. Guarantee, I will pay my tax. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a humanly hospital Papa, guarantee, Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a humanly hospital Papa, guarantee, I will pay my tax. So gonna be I am in your mind, Papa, empty your tax. I am a missing, a carpenter, hairdresser, and barpenny. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay.
Inaza mamesi boy. Fita ke welda be fair.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Inamia china gana na
It's a
iji.
guarantee, guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Waka tax me feel.
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a humanly hospital Papa, guarantee, Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a humanly hospital Papa, guarantee, I will pay my tax.
We came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning we visited a number of the shops and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pay all of us. Thank you once again and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning we visited a number of the shops and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pitch all of us. Thank you once again, and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems, and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case.
Percent of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems, and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pay all of us. Thank you once again and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pay all of us. Thank you once again and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pay all of us. Thank you once again and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get Fund Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National Health Insurance Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence
Lord, we call for your presence. We call for clarity and understanding. Father, we pray that in the end, everyone that will leave here, expectations will be met. Father, we pray that this program, that all will be able to contribute to the nation building agenda. Father, we pray that all who are even on the way will also come here safely, take us back safely, and in the end, we'll give you all the glory, honor, and adoration. We commit facilitators into your hands. Father, we commit everything that will come out of the program into your hands. Let everyone here be blessed, and let us understand this performance, and let us move moving forward to where it belongs. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen.
Thank you very much, Josephine. So on behalf of the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this morning's engagement. So a key initiative that the GRA is implementing this year has to do with the VAT reforms. And this we also through the passage of the VAT Act 2025, Act 151. And this morning, as part of our mandate, we are expected to keep our taxpayers abreast with the provisions in the law and what the transitional arrangements are in relation to this particular law. So basically, our purpose for gathering here is to engage with our taxpayers so that we are all informed and will all be able to comply with the tax law. So before we proceed, I would like to do some few introductions. So we have here Mr. Sugar Adupono. He's a Chief Revenue Officer in charge of policy and legislation with the Domestic Tax Revenue Division. Can we see you by? He is the manager for the Spintex Taxpayer Center. Thank you very much, Mr. Achago. And we have Mr. Joseph Asare. He's the area director for Accra East, who will be representing the Commissioner for Domestic Tax Revenue Division. So on this note, I'd like to invite him to give us his welcome address. Thank you.
Good morning, cherished taxpayers, and Happy New Year. Well, I want you to respond. Why? Yes. Are you not happy you are in 2026? Good. So respond for me. Happy New Year. Good. All right. I'm standing in for the Acting Commissioner, Domestic Tax Revenue Division. Addressed by the Acting Commissioner, Domestic Tax Revenue Division, TTRD, at the Taxpayer Sensitization on the Value Added Tax Act 2025, Act 1151, held at Coconut Grove Hotel. Taxpayers, representatives of business community, management and staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to welcome you to this sensitization program on the Value Act 1151. Let me express our sincere appreciation to you, our cherished taxpayers, for honoring our invitation. I think the MC did that. Commissioner is also doing that. So clap for yourselves. But we are overwhelmed with this, your attendance, especially on Monday morning. So congratulations one more time. Your presence here this morning once again demonstrates your commitment to tax compliance and national development. On behalf of the Ghana Revenue Authority, I thank you for your continued cooperation and partnership over the years. It is our earnest hope that your businesses will continue to strive to grow as you play your positive role in the development of our country. The VAT Act 2025, Act 1151, introduces significant reforms at making VAT system simpler and more business friendly. Has been organized to help people clearly understand the key changes introduced by the new law and how they impact on your business operations. Under Act 1 levy, COVID-19 levy has been abolished. Clap. Clap for us. Clap. Leading to a reduction in the overall tax burden on goods and services. Additionally, the National Health Insurance Levy and the gift fund levy are now creditable input taxes. Clap again. Reforms removes the cascading effect that previously increased prices along the supply chain and puts additional pressures on businesses and consumers. The Act also abolishes the VAT flat rate scheme and places all VAT registered persons under the unified tax system. This measure promotes consistency, transparency, and fairness across all sectors. Furthermore, the continued use of electronic VAT invoicing and digital filing platforms will simplify record keeping, enhance efficiency, and make compliance easier for taxpayers. Reforms are designed to support businesses, reduce the cost of compliance, promote fair competition, and strengthen confidence in the tax system. Ultimately, we aim to create an enabling environment for business growth, safeguarding government revenue and national development. Today's engagement is therefore intended to explain these changes in detail, clarify all obligations under the new law, and provide an opportunity for us to listen to your concerns and feedback. I wish to assure you that The Ghana Revenue Authority remains committed to providing continuous guidance, education, and responsive taxpayer service throughout the transitional period. I encourage you to participate actively in today's session, ask questions, and take full advantage of this opportunity as we work together to ensure the smooth and effective implementation of the VAT reforms. Thank you for your kind attention. Commissioner DTRD.
Please, let's do a letter for Mr. Asari. Let's do a letter for him. Thank you very much, Director. So we'll proceed with our first presentation. But before we do that, I'd like to take this opportunity to also introduce Madame Mavis AGC. She's the unit head for compliance management at the Ashaman TSC. Thank you, Madam, for coming. And we also have Madam Yvonne Amatefio, also a supervisor with the client service. Thank you very much for coming, Madam. So on this note, I'll invite Mr. Thomas Agofo to lead us in the first presentation. Thank you. So I would like the high table to move to the front row seat whilst we do the first presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Afrishapa. Looks like the view is not there. But this is the reform is positive news. So I think that the usual aggression or struggle with tax officers on such engagement should be better. We should be smiling more because we have already heard of we are aware of the transformation that has happened. Today is just to let you know much more into detail what to expect in the real field. So the minister had made his policy assessment and reform. Now on the ground, there might be some tweaking here and there just to make sure that administration is better. So ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, let's clap for our country, Ghana, for where we are now with the VAT transformation. Okay, so Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my job is to introduce you to the reform from the tax administration perspective and also let you know the practical steps GRA had put in place to ensure smooth implementation of the law. So without wasting much time, I think we can go straight to the agenda. So we'll look at the key measures, policy measures that had been passed in the new VAT Act 1151. And then we'll provide some updates on the transitional arrangements, the sensitization activities that we have started, and some mechanisms or programs that the GRA had put in place to ensure effective monitoring and collection of the taxes. Remember, government is giving away a lot, and if we are not effective as a revenue administration, we might not meet our targets. And once targets are not being met, the next thing is for the policymakers to start looking at massaging the rate, increase the rate to collect more. So I'm sure by the time we are done, we all agree that effectiveness of the GRA is key in managing this new reform. Then some other practical issues regarding registration, conversion from standard rate, flat rate to standard rate and all that. And then how the rate is applied. We'll look at some small calculations and then filing of returns. We'll see whether anything has changed over there or not. Okay, so let's go to the framework. We are all aware of the budget statement and the promise the government made to reform. VAT for a developing country is one of the key revenue measures or key tax handle that it's required to bring so much compared to all other tax types? The reason is that we have a very large informal sector, which means that significant number of us are not paying our taxes, the income tax, which is the traditional taxes that everybody should be paying. Now, the only way we can collect from the rest of us is through the indirect taxes. And VAT had promised to be one of the key domestic sources of revenue to every developing country at the moment. But what do we have? The implementation of the tax had suffered so many challenges, non-compliance because of the informal sector and the way we operate. More activities are not on electronic basis. We do more cash transactions. So once two people meet and they transact, and that is not known to any other person, that means the revenue will suffer. So, and then the way we manage the VAT over the years, there have been several amendments. Over 12 amendments had been done to the law. And then the design also changed from the global best practice. In Ghana, at the point, we will add all the levies to the taxable value, and then we impose a tax, which also resulted in cascading of the prices, and that made the goods more expensive for us. So the minister said he was going to do a reform, and we all applauded that because it makes the administration also easy for the revenue authority. So we have on the 9th of December, the president did the assent, so we have a law, and then the commencement was announced at 1st of January. So I'm sure we are all feeling it now. I have told you about the consolidation. All the changes, the amendments in the past have been put together into one document. And then this document is supposed to make the tax law more clearer. So when you read the new law, you see that some phrases have been changed, rearrangement have been done, areas that were not too clear had been made more clearer, so that there is certainty and clarity in administration of the VAT. And then with the advent of electronic commerce and all of that, we are hoping that this law had touched base on some of these new area of doing business so that we can effectively mobilize the taxes for government. Okay, so let me draw our attention to the key policy changes that the government proposed, and this is new to me. Yes, we're here. So I have categorized the whole transformation in the law into three. One, dealing with the key policy changes that all of us were aware of because it's been announced severally by government, it's in the budget statement. But in the course of putting the law together into one consolidated document, I told you that there were some changes, clarity that was brought in. So that is the second one. And the third one is just rearrangement. Okay, sometimes in the old law, you see that in the exempt schedule, the law will bring lists of definitions when we already have interpretation section also. So some of these changes have been made to make the law clearer. So let's not just focus on the key policy changes, but be interested in the behind. There are so many other changes that have occurred, which we'll bring your attention to. So number one policy change is working on the effective rate. The rate had not come down. The VAT rate of Ghana is still 15%. Okay, it is the removal of the cascading effect, VAT on levies and all of that, that had reduced the effective rate to 20%, I mean total. Then the removal of COVID-19. COVID is done. And then the recoupling of the GET fund. In the past, the GET fund, the levies were together with the VAT. They were married, no separation. Okay, then at a point, we redesigned it to separate them. That means that the levies had their own characteristics to deal with. It also meant that businesses that suffered the levy could not claim them as input taxes because we didn't see the levies as VAT that requires somebody to claim input taxes on. So in effect, that increased the cost of doing business in Ghana. Means that businesses have to put the levies on their costs and then charge all of us. So the recoupling is just to remarry, bring them together fresh, so that whatever behavior characteristics the VAT has, the levies to carry same. Okay, so then the rationalization of the flat rate. There has always been debates whether to implement multiple rates, VAT, or just stick to the standard rate. There's so much risk, especially in Ghana with the introduction of other rates. People get confused. Businesses that are supposed to be registered for standard find themselves doing flat, and the flat people wanted to pay fixed sum of fixed amount every month to government to avoid the complication in calculating and all of that. But we ended up bringing flat rate instead of flat amounts. Now the flat rate also had these issues. So the government decided that as a policy measure, we are going to maintain one rate as a country. It is easy to monitor that because the standard rate as a traditional VAT has self-policing arrangement within it, where your input becomes my output. GRA can monitor and fall on your inputs from other sources. So the self-policing regime had come back fully, and we're hoping that it will improve the VAT mobilization. Then also, the threshold had remained with us for a long time, 200,000. It's been eroded over the years with inflation and all other macro challenges that we had. So the government decided to increase the threshold to 750. What that means is that GRA will do assessment of every taxpayer to determine whether you're supposed to be there or not. Once that is determined, we will take you out or maintain you in. Sorry, we don't sleep. Oh, it's not mine. People have. All right, so the threshold too is one of the key areas the government worked on to make sure that only the right people, a few people actually, VAT works better if many of we take out so many smaller businesses that are unable to do the difficult work. So GRA can now effectively monitor. All right, so let me quickly jump to the next slide. So where are we now? As at now, the law had been passed, and the name of the law is Value Added Tax Act 2025 Act 1151. You may call it 1151, or any way you like. So the law, okay, so it's been printed, it's selling, I'm sure you can buy for yourself. And then also, to make the implementation easier, GRA also published the administrative guidelines to help all of us appreciate what's next step to take. So just for your information. And then we've started discussing this already, so I'll not go into detail. The key policy measures: reduction of the effective rate from 21.9% to 20%. VAT rate remains 15%. And then the removal of the COVID, the recoupling of the GET fund levy and the national health insurance levy. Then input VAT deduction on levies. This is good for business. We are saying that now, or going forward from 1st of January, businesses that incur VAT and the levies can now claim the levies too as part of their input deduction if it meets the requirements. Then abolition of the flat rate. We do not have any flat rate regime again. The rates prevailing in Ghana now are two: zero rate and standard rate. Zero rate relates to export. Because we do not want to transfer our domestic taxes to foreigners. So export usually is rated, and then all other activities will attract the VAT at the standard rate. Then the increase in the threshold, we already talked about that. Now, let's look at what is not in the public domain. That if you take your time, sometimes if it does not affect your area, you may not be concerned. So everybody have something to take home from the other changes that have occurred. Now, let me start with export of traditional products other than cocoa beans, coffee, and shea butter. You know, the law has a paragraph, a provision that's talked about taxable activities. So in Ghana, for the supply to qualify for VAT, it has to be a taxable activity. So the taxable supply must be a taxable activity supplied by a taxable person. That means a registered person. So we cannot register you for VAT if your activity is not taxable. So first, we need to read Section 5 to know what is in scope of VAT. Now, the new act added export of traditional products, which was not in the old act. The old act only had export of non-traditional products. And then when you read the old act, it says the non-traditional exports includes the mentioned coffee, cocoa beans, lumber, logs, crude, oil, electricity, and processed gold, and all those other ones. Now, within the law, even though it mentioned that these items I mentioned are all taxable activity, it excluded some. So, for instance, cocoa beans was excluded under the exemption schedule that talked about agri produce in their raw state. It also excluded the electricity at the domestic level. We also saw domestic level even had a threshold, but I'll tell you what it is now. And then also when you talk petroleum products and those natural gases were also excluded. So the question is that if we say these activities are all taxable activities, and then we excluded some, leaving others, what happened to them? So there had always been confusion as whether gold, lumber, logs were taxable. So GRA had been going back and forth with our taxpayers. Now the law is trying to clean this to say that, one, export of non-traditional are part of the taxable activity apart from those excluded. Then also export of traditional products are also taxable, excluding cocoa beans, coffee, shea butter. When you go to the definitions, it tells you that non-traditional exports are products that are not traditional. And then when you go back to traditional, it tells you that they are the cocoa beans, the lumber and logs, and all those others. But in the exemption list, some have been taken out. That means that if you are not in the exemption list, you become taxable. So clearly today, gold and lumber, logs, and other minerals will become taxable under the new act. So all that we are trying to say is that the Schedule 5, the Section 5 had been expanded to now include traditional exports. So let's take note of that when we read. Then also one addition to the taxable activity is exploration of natural resources. That also, according to the policy, is to promote or support exploration, reconnaissance, and those other prospecting activities of the mining sector. especially in the virgin forest when it is new. So usually when they come for this exploration, they do it at their cost. If they find in commercial quantity, it's good. If they don't find, they go back with all the costs that they incurred. And so this was not promoting or encouraging people to come and do the exploration or the prospecting and all those other primary activities. So what has happened now is that the law had made the exploration activity, especially with regards to the reconnaissance and the prospecting, they have made it taxable activity. What it means is that it is subject to VAT, but the law also quickly in the third schedule provided a relief. That means that you pay as a business and then you come to GRA for a refund. So when you go to the refund provision, you see that these people who engage in exploration activity in the virgin forest would now qualify for refund. They will not go home in case they suffer losses and are not able to hit commercial production. Now, there is also another item. Something is blocking it. Is it the chair? The table? Oh, okay. All right. So that one is upfront payment by registered and unregistered importers. Upfront payment by unregistered importers. Now, this one was, I think it came maybe 2 years ago as a compliance measure. It's not a source of revenue. It's not a new tax. It was targeted at importers who brings in goods in commercial quantity but are not registered for VAT. So what it means that they get to the port after the custom procedures. Sometimes they even discharge the goods in Tema before going or leaving the port. So their goods are sold without the domestic VAT. So this law or provision was made as an additional sanction for importers who are not registered for VAT to pay an upfront amount. It's not VAT. It's just an upfront amount so that in case they come back to regularize or do the needful, register and start filing returns, that amount is given back to them. So that was implemented. And I must say that during that 2 months of going live with that program, we saw a significant jump in the VAT registration in the country. Every office had people coming in to register. Now it's it's now time to do the compliance work on them. So this used to be 12.5%. It was pegged at the old VAT, previous VAT rates, not the 15%. So what happened is that we ran into the dilemma of a taxpayer. A typical taxpayer would do assessment of the benefits he gets for complying or not. And the data we reviewed indicated that there were still quite a number of importers who were very comfortable paying the 12.5%. They have done the assessment and realized that should I come, if I register for VAT, I'm going to pay 15%, do the cascading levies and all of that. Let me just pay GRA the 12.5%, and then that becomes my cost. I don't want to claim it. And so we had a number of people who have suffered upfront payments a number of times. And for us, that is a red flag. And these people are being pursued by the GRA. So to make it more punitive, the law had moved the rate from 12.5% to 20%. Okay. All right. So that saves us so that we have a very equitable, competitive VAT environment to operate. Now, exempt import. This import, the law provides that If the item is listed in the first schedule, it means that it's not taxable. And then also when it comes to the imports, if the item is in the customs tariff schedule under the 870, if once the item is captured in the customs tariff schedule, and it also qualifies as exempt product. It was so broad. So all manner of items were going through like that. So what has happened in the new law is to restrict the import side, the exemption, to Part C of the third schedule of the harmonized system. Only items found under Part C of the third schedule will qualify for the exemption. So when you are reading, know the differences now between customs tariff schedule and going inside and looking for Part C of the third schedule to check if it qualifies for the exemption. Then we have value of taxable supply. The value of the taxable supply is the amount on which the tax is imposed. By the rearrangement, the recoupling, what we have now is that the value, the basis have changed. Okay. We have Get Fund levy, National Insurance levy, and tourism levy for those in the hotel business. So all of these are never going to be added to determine the taxable value. Okay. In the past, we added Get Fund and Hill before charging a VAT. Now, all these three are all assessed. Okay, we will see illustration and see how that works. Imported service. Imported service under the new section 72, even the scope had been expanded. You see, the general rule is that when you import service and you use it in making taxable supply, it doesn't constitute imported service. If you use it for a non-taxable supply, then it becomes taxable. Now, what the law has done is to now say that when we import services from the free zones into Ghana, it also constitutes imported service if that service is used, is not used in furtherance of a taxable activity. Okay, free zones are in Ghana, but by some special arrangement, they are made to look like they are outside Ghana, but they are in Ghana. They pay PAYE, they pay withholding taxes, they pay so many other domestic taxes. So it's not true that they are out of Ghana. It's just a special arrangement for them. So when you look at the definition of imported service, import, what it means to say import, it talks about foreign country and, country other than Ghana and all of that. But free zones are in Ghana. So to clarify, the law had now expanded the scope of the imported service to mean services also received or provided by free zone companies to the domestic market. So let's take note of that. In that, because the composition of the turbine, aviation turbine is different from the usual kerosene that we know, we said that, well, the kerosene, the domestic one that we know, is what the law is exempting. So that means back and forth to GRA. The law is now trying to clarify. And the position now is that this aviation turbine kerosene has been added to the definition of kerosene. So kerosene now includes aviation turbine kerosene. That means that it is exempt from VAT. Refund or credit for excess tax paid. In fact, one of the critical issues during the reform was to expand the refund to make sure that businesses that even run credit for a long time will qualify for refund, so that we do not hold your capital, working capital, for too long. That had been promised for the future. But in this reform, everything is fine, except that the act now expanded the scope of refund to include excess credits attributable to locally manufactured textiles or locally manufactured sanitary towel. Okay, so this business area of our industry had suffered so much, and the government through policy decided to support them. And so the locally manufactured textiles, what is happening here is that when they run into, because they zero rate it, the supply is supposed to be zero rated. They don't charge VAT. That means that their input, they will not have any way to recover their inputs. So what the law has done is that if they run credit for some time, I don't know how long, but I think for a period, the tax period is a month. So if you run excess credit, you can apply for refund from the Commissioner General. Those who are also supplying sanitary towel, the manufacturers, they also qualify because they also zero rate. Okay, so they don't have any means to recover their input. So the law allows you to also file for refund. We also have persons who qualify for relief under Section 38, the new Section 38. The relief, we have the president, the diplomatic, community, and now we have manufacturers under the AGI. They also qualify for relief. So all the others who qualify for, who are persons who qualify for relief, the law says you pay and then you can file for refund. Okay. Now in the past, we have what we call VAT relief purchase order that we give to such category of taxpayers, and then they are relieved at the point of purchases. Now you pay, it's clear now that you have to pay, and then you file for refund with the GRA. Then one item under the first schedule, management fees charged by a local fund manager for management of a licensed private equity fund, a venture capital fund or mutual fund. This one was in the law, one of those last amendments, but it has been deleted. So if you are in that business, you need to note now that this transaction or supply is taxable now under the Act 1151. It's no more exempt. Now, supply of locally manufactured textiles, that one had sunset clause to expire December 2025. And so the government had extended it to December 2028. And it still has a sunset clause. It means that assessment has to be done by that time and see whether it's really benefiting anybody at all. And then it may be extended or taken out. Supply of locally assembled vehicles under the Ghana Automotive Development Program. This was also in the law with sunset clause expiring 31st December 2025. That one didn't survive. So now the supply of locally assembled vehicles under the Ghana Automotive Program, which was previously zero rated from 1st September, has the expiry date came and then the government decided not to renew. So that is done. All those who are engaged in the supply of the locally assembled vehicles under the Ghana Automotive Development Program should take note that their supply in the domestic market is now taxable at the standard rate. Zero rating supply to a free zone. Now, like I said, free zone is in Ghana, and so whatever they do impacts Ghana directly. So the law is designed such that the free zone operations will not, because they don't pay some taxes, they need to be in a controlled environment so that their supplies will not enter the market in anyhow without the taxes. That will create competition and uncompetitive environment for all of us. So what happened in the previous law is that supply from the free zones into the domestic market is supposed to be zero rated. No, from the domestic rather to the free zone is supposed to be zero rated. Because the supply from free zone to Ghana will go through ICOMS, customs, goods. So the relevant charges or applicable charges, taxes will be applied. But when it comes to service, how? Which entity monitors? Customs, they deal with only goods. But when it comes to services, it comes into the domestic market sometimes without the taxes, because it's difficult to know until maybe audits and all that. And so if you see them as foreign country, it means that somebody can just situate himself in the free zones and be supply services to Ghana without anybody knowing, and then taking advantage of no tax. So what has happened now is that when it comes to goods, it is clear that supply from the domestic to free zone is zero rated. It's export. Okay, supply of goods is zero rated. But under the supply of service, the law was quiet. So our interpretation as administrators is that when it comes to supply of service by domestic supplier to a free zone company service, it is taxable. It's no more at the zero rated. It's already taxable. It previously was zero rated. Now it will be at a standard rate. So if you are a free zone company, you need to know by now that goods to you in the free zone will continue to be zero rated, but when it comes to services, it will be taxed at the standard rate. Now, another interesting addition is shipping. Right. So the next item has to do with challenges we have had in administering some of these incidental charges to export or import. Shipping line charges, port operation services, and shipping line charges related to transit and transshipment. So the goods have arrived. It is going to Niger. Should Nigerians pay the VAT on those, transit services, which without them, the goods will never end up in Niger. So we've been having issues on whether to tax or not to tax. And so this law is making it clearer that stevedoring, lifting the containers to the ground and pushing them back into the vessel, those activities, supply of port operation services related to transit and transshipment, and those other charges related to transit and transshipment will be zero rated, are to be zero rated to avoid implementation challenges. So they will not be charged. Okay. The question, why didn't the law exempt it rather? If you exempt it, it becomes difficult to implement because other people in the domestic market are, you see, exemption applies to the product. And then the relief and those other things relates to persons. Now, this zero rating is in respect of this particular activity. So if it is not in respect of transit or transshipment, then it is taxable. This one is interview question for the GRA people. Sometimes they will just ask you, supply of electricity to a dwelling. Okay, that one, you know, for commercial purposes, for electricity supply to commercial purposes, for electricity supply to commercial area, it's taxable already. So all of you are paying VAT for your business meters. But when it comes to supply of electricity to a dwelling, our homes, the previous law says up to a maximum level, let's say 300 something. But it was difficult to implement those block charges to say that if you consume from 10 to 100 or will be charged or not charged. This confusion has been taken out in the new act. So today in Ghana, a supply of electricity to a dwelling, our home, is exempt. No more a threshold. Okay, I'm sure this is clearer. No maximum consumption level specified. So the minister has been very generous with this one. So just a little tweaking there, not a major change. What happened is that the GRA does a review of the activities of the importers. We check their raw materials import and how it was converted into finished product. Okay, I'm told snack is ready, so we will break for a of the first part. So let me go through this quickly. That is to say that the upfront relief for VAT registered manufacturers, that schedule, the publication that is supposed to be done by the Commissioner General, after you have been approved to be on the list to enjoy the relief at the port, we were doing that at the end of the year. That means that if someone apply for that relief in midway through the year, you have to wait till the new list is published at the end of the year. The law now says that the list has to be published 1st January and updated every 6 months. So Commissioner General has to do this, I think, twice a year, right? So those who come, the early birds and the late people will all have the benefit to enjoy if they qualify. And then the 870 restricted this the qualification criteria to VAT. This law says tax registered. So it's not only VAT we are looking at as a condition for qualifying to enjoy this facility. You also need to have registered for all the relevant or applicable tax types. So that GRA will be checking. Use of VAT receipts to enter a reward scheme by the GRA. You know, with all this reform, which is taking so much away from tax revenue, the government, the GRA, had been looking at ways and means to improve collection. And one of the key ways is making sure that the invoices are issued and are also demanded by all of us. There's already incentive on business to business transaction. There's already a motivation on the business to demand invoice because you are going to use it for the input tax deduction. But when it comes to B to C, you and I, when we go to Melcom, we go to ShopRite, we go to Makola and all those places. As soon as we are done the buying, we are gone. We do not wait to demand or make sure that the invoice is issued. And at the point, someone said, why don't we sanction the consumers for not demanding the invoice? It's funny. Yeah, how are we going to do that? It's tax law. You don't write it in a way that you cannot implement. So they said, no, let's not even think about this. Let's rather come up with an arrangement that will incentivize consumers so that on their own, they will be motivated to demand the invoice. And that is the lottery, not lottery. Please forgive me for using lottery. It is not lottery. It is a scheme that is meant to compensate or reward individuals who demand invoice. And the reward is in you submitting the invoice number 2, a scheme, a raffle. Please, I'm not talking about Lotto, because Lotto has history. I mean, on religious grounds and all. This is a civic obligation. Look, you compare this with you being forced to demand invoice, and then we have VAT police at all shops checking whether you have demanded. That would be too much stress on all of us. So the law is saying that, look, we are allowing people to now, upon the demand of the invoice, you can then submit it into a lottery, and if you win, I mean, it can be very big. But the scheme is not Lotto. The scheme, the reward, we are told, must be very, very attractive. Okay, so this will encourage, if you are not interested, your son or daughter in the university, all these people, 18 years, they can submit these receipts. So I'm sure people will be collecting receipts in the street corners to submit, and that will help GRA. Imagine one receipt is flagged because it's supposed to be coming from taxpayer AB, and it is not in our system. You imagine what will happen. And then also imagine that businesses that refuse to issue the invoice, I will be attracted to businesses that will give me invoice because I intend using it for a lottery. So we believe that in the initial stage of this implementation, traffic will run to businesses that are on the GRA VAT system, because that is what we'll be using. It's only the electronic invoices that will be accepted. So everybody will rush to want to onboard the GRA electronic platform to issue invoices. So let's take note of the raffle or the scheme. Then importation of, I saw this the last time, importation of electric vehicle for public transportation. This has also been added to the exempt schedule. That means that importation of electric vehicle for public consumption has been added to the list of exempt services. Once again, in GRA interview, they will ask you whether the importation of electric vehicle for is exempt. Electric vehicle. Is it exempt? No. It is only the one for public transportation. Okay, so please, it's underlined. Let's take note of that. Okay, so before we go through this, let me get heads up from the team as to whether we can break. Attention and break.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agoso. Can we give a clap to him, please? Yes. For a very long time.
It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Get it to one day. I am me.
Mavinya, Mabia, Kanuana.
I will pay my taxes. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, being a German. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Some Babunu by Juma, get it to one day. I am me,
Mavinia, Mabia, Kanuana.
Ganenti, I will pay my taxes.
Tikana live against Simsugu. Yacho me play Oji.
Ganenti, I will pay my taxes. Everybody goes to Ganenti, in the German tour. Ganenti, I will pay my taxes. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, in the German tour. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, I will pay my tax. Sagana Beya, I am in your mind, Papa, let's see your tax. I am a missing a carpenter, hairdress and barbering. Ganenti, me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
Inazama messing boy. Feedback a world of beef.
Ganenti, I will pay my tax.
Namia China Gana.
Ganenti, in the German tour. Ganenti,
Waka tax me feel.
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, in the German tour. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, I will pay my tax. Ghana, Iba, Anyemi, Kolu, Nawudia, too. Tax. Ghana, Iba, Anyemi, Kolu, Nawudia, too. Ganenti, in the German tour. Ganenti, I'll pay my tax. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, in the German tour. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, Ganenti, I'll pay.
The COVID levy, removing the coupling business is also raised. This morning we visited a number of the shops and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pitch all of us. Thank you once again and happy. to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pitch all of us. Thank you once again, and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get fund levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National health insurance levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pitch all of us. Thank you once again, and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get Fund Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National Health Insurance Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning, we visited a number of the shops, and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pitch all of us. Thank you once again, and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get Fund Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National Health Insurance Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
Mabia, Kanuana,
Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Tikana, live against Simsugu, Yacho, Mipleo,
The guarantee, I will pay my tax. Everybody got a guarantee. In return, it will guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, guarantee. Me return it to Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital, Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a I am in your mind, Papa, let's see your tax. Missing a carpenter, headdress and balcony. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
I'm missing way. Feed that can well be fair.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax. It's a guarantee. In return, it will guarantee. I will pay my tax. Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. Me me too. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Some revenue by man, get it to one day. I am me.
Navinya, Mabia, Kanuana,
Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Tikana, live against Simsugu, Yacho, Mipleo,
Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. Me too. Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. Me too. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a Ghana baby, I am in your mind, Papa, let's see your tax. I am a missing headdress and balcony. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
Inazama messing way. Feedback a world a be fair.
Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Namia China Gana,
It's a guarantee. Me too. Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Rocket tax, feel.
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. Me too. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Navinya, Mabia, Kanuana,
Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Tikana, live against Simsugu, Yacho, Mipleo,
Guarantee. I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. Me too. Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Namia China Gana,
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. Me too. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a Ghana baby, I am in your mind, Papa, let's see your tax. I am a missing a carpenter, hairdress and balcony. Guarantee me. Pay your tax, pay your tax, pay your tax.
Inazama messing way. Feedback a world a be fair.
Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Namia China Gana,
It's a guarantee. Me too. Guarantee. I will pay my tax.
Rocket tax, feel.
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human in the hospital Papa, guarantee. Me too. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. Me let me to Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. It's a service to Ghana to pay my taxes. Some mabunu baye juma, get it to one day. I am me.
Mavinya, Mabia, Kanuana.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Tikana live against Simsugu. Yacho me play watch.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax. Everybody does a guarantee. In the time it's all. Guarantee, I will pay my tax. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. Me Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax. So Ghana be I am in your mind Papa, empty your tax. Carpenter, hairdress and balcony, guarantee. Me, pay your tax, pay, pay, pay.
Inaza mamesin boy. Fita ke welda be fair.
Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Inamia china gana na
It's a
iji.
guarantee. Guarantee, I will pay my tax.
Waka tax me feel.
Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. Aqua Papa, Suku Papa, a human hospital Papa, guarantee. I will pay my tax.
The arrangement put in place, we call it transitional arrangement, to help all of us move smoothly to the new era. So let me take them one by one. Treatment of VAT registered taxpayers. If you are registered VAT taxpayer, I'm having feedback. Is your mic on? Okay, all right. Now all VAT will continue to be in the VAT net, the tax net, until otherwise determined by Commissioner General. And so the rule is that yeah, thank you. So even though the threshold had gone up, the assessment of the true turnover of a business will be done by the Commissioner General. So you don't have to take yourself out. Okay? So what is saying is that all VAT registered taxpayers will continue to charge VAT. At what rate? At what rate? Okay. So what's the VAT rate? VAT is 15. The other rates are levies. So we'll continue to charge VAT at the standard rate and zero rate. There are only two rates now. So nobody is out if you are already registered for VAT. And during this period, you are being told to charge VAT standard rate 15% and the flat rate 2.5 to 2.5 on the VAT exclusive value. Okay, so if it is 10,000, 15% on 10,000, 2.5% on 10,000, 2.5% on the same base. So no wahala. So I'm sure questions will come on why I think from my rep, but I'm required to charge. Commissioner General will tell you when to stop. Now the invoicing arrangement for those implement using the manual invoice, the rules are clear. You will continue to issue the manual invoice. Please take note of this for the standard rated taxpayers. There's no much difficulty. You only ignore the COVID-19 field, and then you continue. I'll tell you about the flat rate people. Okay, before I go there, let me tell you about it. It will come up again. For the flat rate, because several fields, required fields are not on the invoice, you are asked to go to the tax office, or the tax manager's officers come to you to do a replacement invoice. We all need to be on the standard, use the standard invoice booklet. So for the standard, the flat rate, theirs is a bit unfriendly. There has to be that change in the value books for you before you can comfortably charge. Whilst you know the thing took effect from 1st January, so you don't even have any excuse. We all have civic responsibility to take charge, walk to the tax office. The tax officers have also been encouraged to come out to make sure that they do the swapping for you. Okay, now let's look at the electronic space. Now, in our electronic space, we have two categories of taxpayers. Those that are using our free invoicing app. This category of taxpayers, they don't have their own system. The system is not that complex. So they fall on GRA to give them the application to use on their system. So that one, GRA has control, and the changes have been effected from day one. So all taxpayers on the EVAT that are on their own, are using the GRA free application. Their system has been, the changes have been done, and they are happy issuing the new invoice. Now the difficulty had to do with the big businesses that have the sophisticated system that require GRA to integrate with their system. So what has happened is that they were given the instruction, the API documentation had been given to them, and then they would have to engage with their service providers to do the changes. And this was going to take some time. Okay, usually they will request for a longer time, 2-3 months to do changes. But because this tax is positive, the changes that have come is very positive. They work so hard. They will call their people, and then within a very short time, most of them, over 90% of them, have been able to do the reconfiguration. I remember when we were going to do e-levy, they say no, 6 months, 3 months, because that one is a lot of cost on us. But this one, there is so much incentive in the reform, so people have taken the initiative to get things done. So as we speak, I'm sure as of today, most of them have gone live. Because if you don't, you'll be business. So we don't have issue now. If you have, please reach out. We'll refer you to the IT team of GRA to support you. Now, how about the taxpayers below the 750,000 threshold? Okay, so in the past, when VAT was operated under the Act 546, we used to have, we didn't have threshold for service providers. It was difficult to know threshold of lawyers and these other professionals, artisans, it's difficult. Okay, so usually services not require threshold. the Commissioner General still had rules that we follow to determine whether you are registrable or not. The fact that you have applied to be registered for VAT does not mean it's automatic. The Commissioner General has to determine and make a determination whether you can be an agent for government or not. So this law says that in respect of services, we do not have threshold. So what does that mean? It means that all taxpayers, all persons who are engaged in taxable activities and making taxable supplies, if the supply is a service, you are registrable for VAT, unless the Commissioner General tells you otherwise. Okay? So all service providers, no threshold, you are registrable. So you can also come and register voluntarily, or we come after you. Now, yes, providers, there's a transitional arrangement because we are coming from an era where service providers were under the threshold. Okay? So it means that so many of them who felt they did not meet the threshold, so they didn't register. So what happened to them now? What we are saying is that we are giving all service providers who could have registered but for the threshold in the past to now go within 30 days to register. In fact, the 30 days is a requirement for registration. If you are engaged in taxable supply, you need to register. If you fail to do that in 30 days, the GRA will use by force to get you registered. So that is a key message we want to highlight, that for service providers who are required to register, but because of the threshold in the past that restricted their registration, they can now go and do the registration within 30 days. Now, if you apply and the Commissioner General think your business is so small, you cannot keep record, these are not the reason why you shouldn't be registered. Not because you can't keep records, but there are conditions. Once you meet them, Commissioner General will register you. If you do not, we will monitor you and get you registered again, or move you into another kind of taxation scheme. You know, we have the presumptive tax, modified taxation for small businesses. We'll put you there. Now, the third point, all taxpayers below the threshold shall continue to charge VAT at the standard rate. No more flat. Real estate, no more flat. Retailers, no more flat. We are all issuing at the standard rate. And I told you why it was where we are now, we have to be more effective in our VAT regime. GRA cannot police every taxpayer at the same time. And so there's an inbuilt compliance mechanism in the design of the standard rate, which is that your input becomes my input. And like I said earlier, for business to business, the policing is super. Because if you fail to demand invoice for your business supplies, then you cannot take input claim for it. So the VAT becomes a cost on you. The challenge now for GRA and all of us is how to deal with the B to C. And so that's why I said other incentive schemes are being introduced. So all taxpayers below the threshold will continue until you are instructed to stop. And the Commissioner General had plans to facilitate or speed up this process, so we don't hold you for too long a time. So there is going to be a verification audit that will be done to ascertain the actual turnover. The actual turnover goes beyond what you declare on your returns. We are not going to use that. It's just one of the variables. We also use other. Do you want me to tell you? The taxman knows what to do. They will come and catch us. So we'll look at lifestyle, we'll look at your PAYE, we'll look at so many things. Okay, your signature. The accountants have the expenditure approach. So we know over the years, because of the effectiveness of the policing, many people have underdeclared their sales. So we are not going to use the one you have declared. Yes, we'll do our own work. Okay. Now, deregistration of eligible taxpayers below threshold. Once Commissioner General determined that you are not supposed to be in the VAT net, you will be deregistered. Deregistration is a process. It ends with your name being struck out from the VAT register. So it starts with putting you on pending deregistration. Okay, we will visit you, we'll do initial preliminary work. If it is certain that you do not meet the first level of threshold, we will put you on pending. That means that your obligation to file returns will be halted, because it's a cost on you to be coming to GRA office or go to the system to file and all those things. We will take it off. But you are not fully deregistered yet until we write to you that you are out. Okay, then the return filing obligation to is out. But if in the process we find one invoice that suggests that your volume of supply could meet the registration threshold, but you just kept it away from us, the system will resurrect. You are not off completely. It will bring you back live and start pulling all your transactions across the country. Okay, that's why I said the self-policing is key for the policing. It wasn't possible for the flat rate. Okay, flat rate, it cuts at the point of supply. So this is good for us. Then taxpayers confirmed to be below the threshold will be migrated to the modified taxpayer regime. So we are not entirely free. The government, the GRA, have a very simplified tax regime for small businesses. So if you do not meet the threshold, you also, most likely you will meet the threshold for small businesses. So you'll be placed there. Over there, we have 3 categories of taxpayers. The presumptive tax based on turnover installment. That means that your hairdresser, tailor, seamstress, you pay a fixed amount, like 40 Ghana per annum. Or, I mean, that one, you will come to that when we are dealing with it. And then the second one is on turnover. You pay currently 3% of your turnover, and that suffices for all your tax, income tax. So you will not be paying VAT and be paying income tax, and no, just 3% of your turnover will take care of all your taxes, income taxes, as a business. So, and then if you are getting better, you are able to keep your records, then you move to the next category, which allows you to take some credit of expenses that you have incurred, and then gradually we'll move you into the mainstream income tax. So we are not entirely out of the net. Okay. One is control verification. It's said that GRA had not been very effective on the ground. We wait, VAT in the past had the frequency of visit was higher than now, because we have merged and we also want to do income tax, which takes a longer time to complete. We miss a lot on VAT compliance. So we will do control verification, which is like frequent visits, not for like sit down audit, but to just check. You filed credit continuously for 2-3 months. We want to be sure that you really had stock to support that. You are not just filing. And now people are filing online. They don't come to the tax office. In the past, even in Sunyani where I was, if you bring credit, we'll send you to an enforcement room so that we register it and follow up. If you brought returns without payment, we'll take you to the enforcement room. We'll take note of you. As soon as you go, we follow up. But now you are sitting in the comfort of your room and filing returns. It's possible you will file payment returns without payments. And so now it's work on the officer to come looking for you. So a lot will change this time around. The officers will be on the field. They said we should conduct monthly or quarterly verification. I want to assure you that it will not interfere in your work. It's just checking, and it will be risk-based. It's not like every month you say, it's only when the record is showing that we know we are tracking the inputs. So if input is coming to you and you are not accounting for the output, we'll come. Is that not fine? Oh, people don't like this one. No, let's remember that if the revenue fail to come, the immediate thing that the government will do in the next budget is to increase the rate. And that's what has happened to us in the past. So this time around, we want to even do so well so that we can call for a further reduction in the VAT rate. Because for us, it's good. Once the rate is smaller, everybody, if you are paying it, it's cool. So please keep that in mind. Minister wants to reduce the rate if we are able to effectively collect more this year. Now, activities will be organized using the TS zonal system, enabling structured coverage and efficient resource deployment. So what this means that within every taxpayer service center, we are going to have zones, and each zone will be manned by an experienced officer whose job is to, know all the taxpayers within the zone. Okay? So if you are doing well, they will know. You see how these guys in the assembly works, those who rise up work. Even if you are in a fenced house and you are digging foundation, they know you are doing something. We will learn from them. So the zonal system is supposed to help bring compliance to closer to you for us to monitor for the taxes. If you don't do anything wrong, don't be afraid. The exercise will focus on verification of VAT declarations and invoicing practices. We want to be sure that you are issuing the right invoices. Okay. Those days, we used to have VAT police in the advert. It's a cartoon advert, if you remember. And so the VAT police is coming. They will be checking whether you are issuing the right invoices, identification of compliance gaps and anomalies, and then early resolution of emerging risks. So if there are issues in a particular zone, we do it. And as we speak now, the commissioner has a view of whatever is happening. GRA through our rent property rate system have mapped and picked data on all structures in the country. So when the officer moves to your zone, we can see that he is working. And how many taxpayers in the area has he visited? We have that at the moment. So don't be surprised if you see them around. Remember, they will not interfere in your work. Now, detailed transitional arrangement. Let's move to registration. Now, all VAT registered taxpayers shall remain registered until formally deregistered. That is very clear by now, right? You are not going to take yourself out because you feel that you do not meet the threshold. It's only the Commissioner General's determination that can take you out. Now, and so what we need to be calling for now is the speed with which we will do the work. If we don't, it means that these people remain on the register forever. Okay. So please help us. Service providers are required to register for VAT unless otherwise directed by the Commissioner General, because no threshold for them. They have 30 days from 1st January to register. If you do not, the GRO will use the first registration and then backdate. Your registration start from the day you qualified, you started doing taxable supplies. So if you do not come within the 30 days window period, it means that the officers will have to use the enforcement tools, which include taking you back to when you first started your okay, I won't go into today is not it's happy day, so focus on the happy moments. Okay. Conversion to standard rates. All taxpayers currently operating under the flat rate whose annual turnover exceeds the 750 will be converted. Okay. By now, we expect that the system people have done the conversion because you are no more. Your next return that you file will be standard rate return, which will come at the end of February. So for now, I'm sure they are done. Your next return will not be a flat rate return. Real estate developers shall be converted to standard rate. They will also be converted. I'm sure there will be small correspondence to that effect. But the announcement is that stop charging flat rates, because there's no law supporting that. Then VAT registered individuals who do not meet the threshold following the verification exercise by Commissioner General shall be deregistered. And what? They will be deregistered, but they are not going anywhere. They are still with GRA. So where are they going? Modified taxation. Please, let's tell people about modified taxation. Okay? There's no way you do business and not be registered for taxes. You know, it's really an issue. We don't have too many of us in the tax net, and this is one of the ways we are going to pay more people. Now, application of VAT rate. I had already indicated earlier that all VAT registered taxpayers will continue to charge, but at a standard rate and zero rate. The Gate Fund levy, tourism levy, national health insurance levy will all be charged on the same base. The VAT, if it is 10,000, you are selling the product, then that is the selling price. So all the levies and the taxes will be on that value, unlike the 870 that require you to charge on the levies. Now we also have communication services, CST. That one hasn't changed, apart from the cascading that's taken out. Maybe it's the next cascading we should be fighting for. First, you charge the CST, and then later you charge the VAT and the levies. So in the case of electronic communication service tax, there hasn't been any significant change. You first charge the CST before determining the taxable value for the VAT and the levies. Then the excise, those who are dealing with excisable product, that one to, we charge the excise duty on the ex-factory price and maybe distribution costs. So that will continue. The only change here is that we are not charging the VAT on the levies. Okay, so we'll take the ex-factory price, add the margin, the excise duty, add the distribution costs, and then we impose the VAT and the levies. So SRDT shall be charged and added to the ex-factory price to determine the taxable value before applying VAT and levies. Filing of returns. The returns filing hasn't changed. The timelines for filing hasn't changed. What we missed, I think we missed, is not to restrict the filing to the last working day, like day. Now you are filing online. We could give you the minutes of the last minutes of the day, for instance. 11:59 p.m. Okay, but this hasn't changed. So the law is still the last working day of the month. Okay, working day, but people are working 24-hour economy. Okay, maybe Commissioner General should issue a directive to take care of that. Okay. Now, VAT registered taxpayers who do not meet the threshold shall continue charging. So this one, we are repeating it for you to know. VAT, then the verified taxpayers who do not meet the threshold shall file nil returns until deregistered. This one, I am saying, is not automatic. You need to have something from GRA telling you that we have commenced the deregistration process. Once you receive that, then you now file nil. Nil. You file the returns all right, but you take nil. You don't have anything to declare. Then when we are done with the investigation, and we think that you are no dealing in VAT, then you'll be completely deregistered. Please, so these are the areas we need to engage GRA to speed up things, to make sure this is done in a manner that will not impact your business. Okay, then once you are deregistered, then you can cease charging. You don't even have returns filing obligation. Individuals verified do not to meet the threshold shall be migrated. This kept coming. So the modified taxation also have set of rules. For instance, you can't be a VAT registered taxpayer to be on modified taxation. It's really for small businesses that do not have complex arrangements, no branches, no. So small businesses. But we also check against the condition for being on the modified taxation before you are put in there. Treatment of inventory upon conversion. What happened? I am a flat rate taxpayer. I have stock. Under the flat rate, I was not required to claim inputs, but I charge less, reduced rates. So now that I'm going, 1st January, I'm going to start charging the standard rate. What happened to my input? Like a memorandum information, just that. And it is now time to take the deduction, and you have stock to back it. Then Commissioner General may grant you. Okay. Now, if the invoice, the invoice you want to file is older than 6 months, the requirement for taking input tax, the invoice should not be, I don't know, its age should not pass 6 months. Okay. Why would you even have an invoice and hold on after 6 months before you file with GRA? It will expire. So we are not going to accept expired inputs or invoices. So let's take note that the Commissioner General will assess the input claim against the normal rules for accepting the deduction for inputs. So Commissioner General will grant input tax on stock on hand. Some people have book accounting stock. Okay, we are not referring to accounting stock. The real stock, because from 1st January, you are going to sell those items at the standard rate, not at the flat rate. So all those items, you are going to charge 15, 20%. So the government or the policy is that you can take input in respect of those items. So let's take note of that, else audits will come and catch some people. Now, input tax deduction shall not be made more than once. This is a normal rule for input tax deduction, and shall not be allowed after 6 months from the date the deduction accrued. So if by chance you hadn't yet declared the input on a tax return, and it's also not expired, and you have stock to back it, inventory on hand, then you can go ahead and claim it. But first on the tax return. I hope that is clear. Now, where purchases input were not previously declared, no claim shall be allowed. So this is where the auditors will be looking. However, inputs relating to under-declared purchases within 6 months supported by undeclared purchases. I have said that. So input relating to undeclared purchases within 6 months, supported by valid invoices, may be claimed. And I'm telling you as an auditor that it has to be backed by the stock. Okay. Then flat rate persons who are deregistered shall add input tax to cost. So if you are not all the inputs that you have, you can have any means of claiming them. So it becomes business cost for you. The standard rated taxpayers who are deregistered shall treat and utilize input VAT as part of cost. So if you're also a standard rate taxpayer, this one is normal. If you are no more operating and we deregister you, then you don't also have any means of claiming your input. So it becomes a cost on you. I hope it's clear for you now. Okay, I am sure I've discussed this already. Unutilized VAT and VAT invoices in use. Okay, so this has to do with the value books. If you have existing VAT invoices that had the field for COVID-19, we are saying that this should be ignored. Just ignore it and go ahead and build the VAT and the levies. Now, taxpayers holding unused flat rate invoice books are required to return them to their assigned offices for replacement. I said that already. So we rather encourage people, colleagues to go on the field and support this process. But we need to speed up to make sure that we have the right group of taxpayers in the standard rate net. Okay. Now, taxpayers using computer-generated invoice. The obligation here is to reconfigure. If you are not using the GRA free app, you need to change your system yourself so you can remain compliant by the 1st of January. I think there was an arrangement where the first 2 days they were sending the bulk data to GRA for capture. Those who are on the EVAT system knows what happened. But I am told that as at last week Thursday, 90% of these cases have been resolved. And I hope by now the rest 10 have gone through. Relief for holders of reconnaissance or prospecting licenses. So this was an issue. I told you earlier on that for this exploration work, they go home sad with all the VAT they have incurred. So they were not encouraged to invest in this exploration of our virgin forest. And so what this law has done is that it said they will be charged VAT when they come to do their work. But in case you suffer VAT, and you even do not hit commercial production, we will give you a refund. So that has been captured under Section 53 now, refund, clearly. So Commissioner General has an obligation to do that. Then also, so okay, that is it. So it's in respect of holders of these reconnaissance or prospecting licenses under the Minerals Act. This condition, if you don't meet them, don't even think about it. Okay. Deregistration. Suppliers of goods whose annual turnover does not exist, maybe this, so it's just repetition of the fact that the decision is not on the taxpayer. So there are two ways of going about this. The Commissioner General will come and complete that process, or if you are in haste, then you can initiate the deregistration process. You can write to Commissioner General that by the law and having gone through your records, you think you do not meet. So you provide the relevant information, and then they will also ask officers to come. Maybe that could speed up things if you did application. So if you wait and it's not happening, then we'll urge you to use the other option where the taxpayer can apply for deregistration. Okay, so we'll go into the calculation engine. So this calculation is focused on the output tax. The input hasn't changed. So whatever we are doing now is to let you know that is the output side that the reform affected, how to calculate the output tax. So now you know that we impose a tax on the taxable value. And the taxable value is now all other costs excluding the tax, which also, like I told you, VAT, the levies are now carrying the behavior of VAT. So you can extend it to say that all other costs excluding VAT and the levies. Okay, that becomes the taxable value. Then you now apply the rate, the 2.5, 2.5, and the 15%, and then you get your taxable the output VAT. Then the deduction has to meet the deduction rules. We don't accept anything. So once you have the required VAT invoices, you have stock to support it. I'm not saying the stock should be there at the time of filing, but it's only the migration, those who are being moved from flat rate to standard, that require evidence of stock, because we will have to do the tracking. So once you meet the requirements under section 49 for the input taxes, you can claim them. And then we do the calculation. The outcome, only two, is either we are owing you or you are owing us, or maybe three, or nobody is owing anybody. All right. Okay. So for clarity, let's just take a look at this example where we have a cost of goods, including overhead costs, 140,000. And then, of course, the business will add a profit margin, giving us a selling price of 194,000. What we are saying is that, unlike the previous VAT regime, you just apply the rates as it is on the selling price for each of the tax type here. So NHIL 2.5 on this base, Get Fund the same base, and then VAT 15% on the same base. So previously, you would have added these two to this value before charging the VAT, and so that is no more. So the final price, inclusive of the taxes, tax and the levy, is 232,800 Ghana cedis. Okay, if you add the taxes now, then you're getting 38,800. Now, I have seen people do the comparison. Over here, it wouldn't look big, okay? But the impact is huge. It's like almost 6%, because they can now claim the input. They don't add it to the business cost. So the cost of doing business had gone down by 6%. I mean, total cost of operation. So let's not just see the small deduction here, but also the bigger impact on the business. Then for electronic communication service tax people, the rules haven't changed that much. You have the cost of electronic communication service 140. You add the CST 5% of this value to it. Then you get your taxable value. You apply the VAT, the new VAT rate regime, and then each is applied on this taxable value. And then that gives us a final cost inclusive of the tax of 176,400 Ghana cedis. So we can extract the total output tax, please, not tax payable. This is a total output tax of 36,400. Okay, I'm sure before the slide hits your account, would have done the correction. If you don't have any input to claim, then this becomes your tax payable. Then for excise taxpayers, like I said, we take the ex-factory price. So let me go through this example. Excise is a bit not friendly, but this is a case of excise duty to be applied on malt drink. And when you look at the schedule, the sliding scale that tells us that depending on the percentage of local raw materials you use, the rates will apply, the rate that applies, okay? So if you use more and more local raw materials, then you pay less. So in this instance, we have a malt drink which has less than 50% local raw material, and the rate provided in the law is 20%, okay? So we are going to apply that. Ex-factory price of malt is 140, and then the rate is 20%. Then just like the CSC, you can now there's another cost for the excise people. Distribution cost is added. Only distribution cost, okay, is added before we derive the cost of the product. I don't know why this is service. Okay, so this is now the taxable value, 180,000. Then we apply the new VAT regime on it. That gives us 64,000 Ghana cedis. Then the hotel business, they have a special, how do you call that tax? Is it tax? It's a levy, tourism levy. So how does that work? So like we said, for the tourism levy, because we still want to avoid cascading in the mainstream VAT, you will not add it to the selling price before doing the VAT. So cost of accommodation, 100,000. Then based on that cost, you do your the tourism levy. So before this amendment came or the change came, GRA had been fighting the hotel industry because per the definition of taxable value, they said all other things should be added, excluding the tax, and the law defined the tax. So now it is clearer that when we are determining the value for the taxable supply, we are not including the tourism levy, the GET fund, and the NHIL. So that's the calculation we have done here. 1%, where is it? 1% of this is 1,000, then the 2.15, giving us total output VAT of 20,000 Ghana cedis. Now, sometimes businesses want to sell without, confusing the taxpayer or wanting to show the taxes and all of that. You can do the exclusion or the inclusive VAT regime. Whichever one you choose, you can still calculate your VAT. So this is a VAT fraction that has that helps you to extract the VAT. So you charge 10,000 and you tell your customers that this 10,000 includes the taxes. There's a way you can now extract it for accounting purposes. Okay, so this is in respect of the total fraction for the 20%. So what is the VAT fraction for the 20%? You just want to tell the customer that there is VAT 20%. So if you want to extract it, you use 1/6. And so that is the rate you apply. And then we have for the respective taxes we have 1/8 for the VAT, the 15%. If you are just interested in the VAT in the total, you can use 1/8 to extract it. If you also want to know the NHIL in the total cost, use 1/48. And then 1/48 for the other levy. And then this is the summary. So the total VAT fraction, including the levies, is 1/6. So that is what most of you in the retail business will be using to do your computation. Okay, last two slides. Then work example. So if we have for the total, the 1/6, this is a case of somebody selling at inclusive tax of 10,000. So it's straightforward. If you want to know the VAT, the total VAT, the 20%, you apply the 1/6 on the 10,000, and that gives you the VAT and the levies. If you're just interested in the VAT component, Then you apply the 1/8 on the 10,000. That gives you 1,250. Then the levies also applies. So no confusion. VAT, total VAT fraction is 1/6. Okay, same. For this is in respect of which one is this? Oh, okay. It's this example, the VAT annual. I arrived just in time. Okay. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new VAT reform. If we are happy with it, we can clap for ourselves as a country. You don't want to clap. If you, yeah, it's good. It's good. We are going to open up for question and answers very soon. But this clearly shows that the customer experience is key. We don't want VAT to impact business decision. Once you do things right, you'll be fine. So this is proper VAT now. It's not a cost on business. You pass it on to your customers, and then you are fine. So I'll hand over the mic to my team members so we can continue. Please don't ask policy questions. Let's ask administration what will help us implement. As for the policy, we'll just refer them to government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. I think Mr. Agoso deserves a big applause. Let's do it for him. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll proceed with the question and answers. But I would like to take the first set from our online audience. Yes. No, so they are also live with us. So please, let's start with theirs. At least they've been able to post their questions. So let's treat theirs first, and then we can give you the opportunity. Thank you. So we have from Yevuga. So I'll just take two questions from the online audience, and then we'll give you the opportunity. Thank you. So we have from Yevuga Just Sicho. Dear Ghana Revenue Authority, in our neighboring countries, these value-added taxes are collected using a POS device, irrespective of the vendor system, written or printed. This POS generated receipts ensure the tax collected reaches the revenue authority adequately. We are too advanced than these countries to be battling with the under declaration. So there's a comment from him. Also from Edward Ansa, if you have a company that does not make the 750,000 threshold, but yet has contracts with institutions, how do you manage your taxes? Thank you. So we'll give you the opportunity to now ask your questions. We'll take a set of 3, we'll get the responses, and then we'll move in that order. So the microphone will be brought to you, and then you can ask your questions. Thank you. Yes, so we'll respond to the online one first, and then we'll continue with the others. Yeah. Okay, so. Put the microphone.
You very much. My name is Richard from Bro, Ghana. Yeah, I have about 2 questions. The first one, prior to end of December, GRA, those of us on EVAT, GRA sent a message that any invoice related to December that will be issued in January would, let me say, attract the new rate. However, GRA is working on those backdated invoices, which were supposed to be completed in January. I want to find out how far is that, if I should repeat myself, a transaction or a business that was conducted in December for which invoice will be issued to the client in January. Once we are using the e-VAT system with the API, the invoice will attract the new rate because the invoice being issued in January. However, GRA is working on those backdated issues. May I know where we are now? Now, number 2. Somewhere in 2021, GRA issued a directive that any expense that will qualify for CIT deductions or a business qualifies business expense must have VAT or must be treated or dealt with a VAT registered person. Now with this modification, now those below the threshold in January onwards, if such supplier comes or supply me goods without any VAT invoice because they've not met the threshold for which GRA will convert them to standard rate. That is 1. 2, those that are supposed to move to the modified taxation system. So I want to find out if someone supplies me in January, for which I will not be able to determine whether the person meets the threshold or not, and therefore comes with the goods without the VAT. Am I supposed to assess the goods and treat them as my business expense? Reference to the directive issued in 2021 that any expense that is not, let me say, on a VAT invoice does not qualify to be a business expense. And then number 2, those that will be treated under modified taxation system, how would I, the recipient of that service or that goods, know that those business is on the modified, and with those under the modified issue certain VAT invoices to with the client, and how do we deal with that? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Mbeko, Earth Energy. And first, I want to commend GRA and the government for this policy reforms, and also to GRA specifically for this jobs forum. My question or my comment relates not admin architecture that will help the efficient or the satisfactory implementation of this reforms. For the policy, we welcome them, but I'm worried about the timelines of the admin process for reforms and also exemption approvals. You know that the flooding that we do with timelines, let's say, them. But what about we certifying our part, and how does GRA ensure that reforms relating to exemptions or refunds are also timeline and bound? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the online, there are two. One is just for me to add up to what the gentleman said about the POS. I'm sure by the end of the year, I'm not the minister. The POS conversation is on. There's a team working hard in the GR and the Ministry of Finance to make sure that we add the POS to our EVAT system. So most businesses will be running on the GRA POS system. We call it EPOS, electronic invoicing system. So that is being worked on. But he said the turnover of the supplier is less than 750, but the person also has contracts with or wanted to go into contract with government. I'm sure government will insist that you will be a VAT registered taxpayer before you are engaged. So if you do not meet threshold, you can also apply for voluntary registration. If your engagement with government requires you to be VAT registered, the law provides for voluntary registration, and this is something the person can take advantage of. And once he meets the other condition for Commissioner General, he will remain registered for VAT. Richie, right? Okay. the EVAT backdated invoices, invoices transaction concluded in December, but invoices are to be issued in January, and that will come at a new rate. Okay, so you were promised that something is being done on it. Okay. And since this is a close group, I will refer this to the technical team. I'm sure your people are on the Skype group where technical conversation are held. So I beg, go back to the group, the technical group, and put the question there and see, because it might be unique to you and not any other taxpayer. Then you also asked about goods supplied without invoice. In fact, you are not supposed to be dealing with taxpayers who are not registered for VAT. You deal with them, then it means that they will not give you VAT invoice, and that becomes a business cost. You want to continue like that? It's not good. Okay, let's support the compliant taxpayers. Look for them. If there's no way you are in far away, I don't know, I don't want to mention, and there's no way you find a VAT registered taxpayer to provide you the same service or goods, then it means you are doing it at a cost to yourself. But please, let's try and look out for the VAT registered taxpayers and get them to. Yes, and advice to your suppliers. There's also voluntary registration avenue for them. I think this one is better for you because you want to deal with them, so you can encourage them to apply, but they have to meet some other condition. Okay, goods supply without invoice will come at your cost. And then will MTS modified taxation people issue VAT invoice? No, they are not required to be registered for VAT. So that again, if they don't meet the threshold and they still insist, they can apply for voluntary registration. I advise them. Okay.
See, if you are dealing with them and the numbers are high, it means naturally they'll cross the threshold. And so any business you're dealing with them naturally will cross the threshold. If only they are not suppressing their turnovers. You see, so the best option is for them to apply for voluntary registration, just to be able to help you and help Mother Ghana. DJ, can you play our song for just 2 seconds for me? Just for 2 seconds.
When you cross it up, the person will meet the threshold. That's how you will be punished. But if there's every indication that no matter the gross up you do, you do not meet the requirement, and you satisfy all the requirements, you will be allowed to deduct it as expense under the income tax.
Thank you very much. Mr. Beko, timelines for refund. This was, somebody said it's a policy question, but I think it's a call on GRA to put in measures to facilitate the refund process. So we have taken note of that. Any platform you find yourself engaging with the commissioners, you try and emphasize that point. But it's one of the key requirements for, in fact, GRA, government, and IMF engagement to work on our refund processes. So I'm sure it will get better than it is now. But we've taken notes and we'll raise it up with management. Satisfied? Okay.
We want to provide government with the resources to run this country, but it also will help businesses to be more efficient and compliant if these realistic timelines are provided so that we are duly guided. Thank you. But I will take your comfort words, but I'll urge GRA to please help us to comply better. Thank you.
Okay, noted.
Thank you. Please, we thank the government for stopping the COVID-19 task. My question is, the threshold that has been increased from 200,000 to 750,000. That's a 275% increase. We want to find out the rationale behind that sharp increase. The reason why it has been increased, knowing that even those who fall below, we will be going after them for the standard rate. So the first questioner even asked about some goods that he procured and some are non-VAT registered. And the advice was that they should try and be dealing with registered VAT companies. And therefore, we wish the GRA also mount pressure on those who are doing business without registering. Because the expenses on the companies are many. And for that matter, if I'm doing my costing and I see that I'll get the material here very cheap, you know we are all in Ghana. That's where we sit. But why are they in the country and they are not doing the right thing? When I go for such goods, you know there are other penalties that you will be applying for non-compliance with the tax. So I want to know the vivid reason why that 275% increase. And lastly, knowing just 30 days for us to be compliant with the directives. If you can help us get the slides, because when we were registering, there wasn't any portion for email address for us to go for revision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. My name is Frederick. Now, in filing out, those who file the levies separately from the main VAT, since the two of them now have the same characteristics. And then also there are some companies that has a withholding VAT credits of 7% that is based on the original 15%. So those companies with the withholding VAT credits, is there any change? And how do they file it? And then lastly, if you can forward the slides you use in your to us. We've given you our phone numbers, and I'm sure most of us are on WhatsApp. So if you can forward those slides to us on WhatsApp, that'd be grateful. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Please, my question has got to do with the migration from the flat rate to the standard. I went to my tax office and I was told I will have to be before even the okay. So I am on the flat rate, yes, and then service contracts of the institution where are required to issue the standard. So on two occasions, I have to go to the tax office for the upfront. So I requested for the standard booklet, and I was told I will have to be audited. But a week now, nobody has been to my office. As I said with you, I have to go back to my tax office for an upfront before, and I think it's very important. If something can be done, since we are in business, if the booklet can be issued out, I think it will help. But if not, then you can advise us on what to do.
Your first question on the migration.
Okay, the question is, I will have to wait for me to be audited before I can get the booklet.
But you are not VAT registered.
I am VAT registered. I am on the flat. But the nature of the contract is that almost within the week you can be called upon and you will have to issue VAT receipt before you'll be paid. And I have to drive to my tax office to make upfront for them to give me the receipt to present to my client before, and I think it's very inconveniencing.
Okay, so the one-off you normally do, how often do you do that?
The contract started December 1st last year, and we've started with the how do you call it, accumulation of the payments and everything this year. And because I'm not having the booklet for the standard, I'll have to be driving to my tax office. I've been there twice last week.
For the offices?
Teshinungwa.
Teshinungwa.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the director will be informed. But what it means is that you now have to be on the standard.
Yes.
Safeguard yourself and Mother Ghana.
That I know. That is why I'm saying that even the client demands for the standard.
Yes.
Okay.
So the director for Accra South will be informed. Quickly, your company will be ordered. So please take the details from me so that Accra South.
Take your.
Yes. So you'll be giving the invoice. You'll be giving the invoice. Say it again.
1 hour, please.
And then there was also another concern about sharing the slice.
Please, let's listen, please.
Sharing the slice. The office managers will be given the slice because they nominated or selected you. And so they will use the medium to get it back to you. Again, it will be on the GRA website, which you can also access. So it will be sent to the various TSCs. And then the TSCs, the way they contacted you, they will use that like manner and then get the details back to you. I hope that's clear. Thank you very much.
And the GRA website address will be projected on the screen. But for avoidance of doubt, it's www.gra.gov.gh. www.gov.gh. www.gra.gov.gh. Please, if you go there by close of day, we'll put it up on the website for you to have access to it. Thank you.
So we'll respond to a few other questions. So right now, it's a policy question, but just to let you know that the threshold had been there for so many years. At the time, inflation had gone up, to over 50%, that eroded the value. That means that anybody who sells, let's say, 1 bag of rice may qualify for VAT registration. So there were so many people now who now qualify to be registered for VAT. And that is not the intention. The intention is to keep the threshold high, keep it to a few people at the top, and then we can effectively monitor. So policy, the decision has been made already. So let's leave it there and then move on. And then GRA, there's a compliance issue. I think the office managers here will take it up regarding we ensuring that all registrable businesses are registered so that there will be equity in the VAT implementation. The slide will be shared through the means that my boss has said. And then will the return be one? Yes, it will be one return. I told you VAT and the levies now have the same characteristics. So the way the VAT behaves, the same way the levies will behave. So it's okay to put them on one return. And that return will be made available to you on the system when the time is up to file. There was a question on the withholding VAT. It has changed slightly. I forgot to mention that. I don't know what I said about that, but the 870 regime meant that you take it as an input on the VAT return. But upon assessment, it was realized that it's not an input. It's a payment payment credit that is due to you. So now you do your accounting normally, and then when it is time to pay, you rather have less to pay. So we're expecting that by the time you even go doing the payment, the credit is already reflecting on your ledger, just like we have for income tax, withholding tax. So let's keep an eye on that. You will not see withholding VAT credit on the VAT return again. Okay, at the time of payment, you strike the difference and pay the net to GRA. Maybe there might be more directive on that in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Import VAT that we pay on imports. It's
15%?
Yes. When you are clearing goods, you pay 15% imports at the port. And the previous VAT, we claim that. So I'm asking this question in consultation with the 7% that is claimed upfront, which you said now is scrapped and you will only see the credit on the portal. So I'm asking the VAT that you pay on your imports, how do you account for that one too?
Okay, so I think the tradition had been that it qualifies as an claim for you. Don't you claim that already? Okay, so first, before I come to you, the way the VAT was calculated is the same way customs will do it. No more cascading. When the taxable value is determined, then the VAT levies, everything will be imposed on that value. No more cascading, just for your information. Now, I'm not too sure about your question. The input VAT on imports had always been deductible. So what exactly is your question? Mm-hmm. Okay, taking. Okay. Mm.
So it will continue to be an input, just as it was. It continue to be an input. So you claim everything, both the 15 plus the levies, you claim everything as a normal input. Is that clear? Thank you.
The presentation that took place was a very great one. I just have just a clarification to do. The first one, the turnover we are talking about, are we basing it on cash or accrual? And then the second, now the aviation, previously the VAT was zero rated, the input was claimed. Before that was on the revision done on the sale of goods, and I want to verify if sale, processed or unprocessed, is vatable. Then also, I also want to know that previously we are looking at the supply of domestic or external goods and services, and then you mentioned that the services are vatable, but then you mentioned that the supply of I wanted to clarify whether we are talking about domestic or external services. I'm also talking about I'm talking about both external services to the free zones. And then the final one, so the restaurants, most of them charge tourism levy. But then there is no service fee on the charges. And we want to know the calculation on the VAT should go. We've seen a lot of the way they charge, and we don't know whether that is the right way to go. Thank you.
You asked if the turnover is based on cash or accrual. Hey, easy. Okay. It's accrual, isn't it? It's accrual. It's accrual. Normal accounting. But when we come to the modified taxation, there is a regime for like the third category, cash basis, modified taxation. That one, they will be accounting for things on the cash basis. But we use the generally accepted accounting principles and then do the taxes, the tax effect. So yes, is gold now taxable and processed? So I'll take you back to the export of traditional and non-traditional. So the export, I told you that in the past, we only had export of non-traditional in the list of taxable activity. That means that they are taxable. And the law defined non-traditional to include the coffee and is it cocoa beans, coffee, lambas, crude oil, electricity, all those things. So it means that they are taxable, excluding, or it includes those ones. Then they provided specific exemptions for some of the taxable activities. So you see that coffee is in the list of, or cocoa beans is in the list of agricultural produce in the rural states. They are exempt. You go to another crude hydrocarbons, you see that the natural gases and all those things are excluded. But there are a few that were we call it out of scope. You don't know whether they are taxable or not taxable. So there's always fight, like gold, lumber. Lumber was not mentioned as one of the exempt items, even though the law defined it, the non-traditional, to include it. So that small confusion made this law clearer, that both traditional and non-traditional are in scope, except those that have been specifically exempted. So you take the act now, you see non-traditional and traditional. The law defined traditional now, non-traditional to mean not traditional. That's what it said. Produce that are not traditional. Then when you go and look at what traditional is, it says cocoa beans, lumber and all those ones, but still provided for exemption for some of the items. So from where I sit now, unprocessed gold and other minerals is vatable. And then the lumber and logs are vatable. So if you find something else, please see me quickly and let's review it. All right. Thank you. Oh, service fee. This one, who has
The service fee has no place in the tax competition unless it can be identified as one of their charges. And so it will form part of the baseline figure before the application of the VAT and the levies. But once it comes as a line item, no, you cannot calculate VAT on it. Any additional does not attract any tax. I hope it's clear. So, for example, tourism levy, you can't calculate VAT on it. You get it? Because it's another line item. To the extent that it's not above the line, you can't calculate any tax on it, any levy or taxes on it. Thank you.
Yes, and the free zones. So the free zones, what we said is that the previous law zero rated supply to the free zones. But you see, in that schedule, we have supply of goods and supply of services. And so under goods, all the items there, you see a prefix of supply, goods, supply of goods, supply of goods, supply of goods. When it came to free zones, this is supply to free zones. So we're not too sure whether under the general heading supply of goods, we're referring to supply of goods and services for the free zones. So the law made it clearer. Under the supply of goods in the second schedule, you have a supply of goods to free zones when they meet other requirements. And then under supply of service, nothing was mentioned. That's why we are saying that then it means it's taxable. Is that clear? Okay. So supply to the domestic and from the, that's what we are referring, not external, not foreign. So this is in respect of services. They come and procure all these hotel services, those other services from the domestic market. If it is service, it's taxable. If it is supply of goods, it will be zero rated. That's, thank you.
He's taking the next set of questions.
So thank you very much for the delivery and the question so answered. Mine is to get a confirmation on Madam's question that she asked. Those of us who do imports, is it the understanding that yes, we claim VAT then, now we are claiming VAT and the levies, including the VAT network charge, because there's a line item that we want to be claiming small. Then COVID is gone. The last invoice I checked, COVID is gone, but the COVID network charge is still there. Is that a mistake or okay, great. Then again, my business owner also has commercial real estate, where we used to charge 5% VAT on. Per the presentation, I just want a confirmation whether we have also been moved back to the standard rate or there is some regime or some flexibility there. I just want a confirmation. Yes, commercial real estate, 5% then.
Akosia from Fintech TSC. My question is for my understanding is that for VAT flat scheme registered taxpayers, they are supposed to return their unused invoices to their assigned office. For continuity, they are supposed to issue VAT standard. Is it necessary that they must be immediately be audited before they are given the VAT, the standard booklet? The second one is for those who walk in to register. There are some who do not meet the standard threshold scheme. How often should we entertain upfront payments? Thank you. For one-off, if they want to transact business with VAT registered clients, their clients, but because they do not meet the threshold, we only register them for especially the sole pros for PIT. But once a while, they get maybe a contract to sell to registered clients. How often should we entertain upfronts or one-off? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Felix from Spintex. Please, I need clarification on the withholding VAT. Per my understanding now, the withholding VAT will be treated like the withholding credits, just like the CIT. So now the deducting company will no longer issue certificate to the receiving company again, if we understand. And also the receiving company will rather be seeing it on their tax portal as a credit, but will no longer issue certificates again. And also the last one, now the withholding VAT and then the withholding credit will all have the same base the same taxable base, if I'm right.
Thank you very much. So because I have opened the law to let you know about the withholding requirements now. With section 56, duties of value-added tax withholding agent. It says that agent shall withhold from the payment to a person registered for the tax 7% of the tax payable, taxable output value of supplies, and B, at the time of making payment for the supply, issue a withholding VAT tax credit certificate in the form prescribed by Commissioner General. So they will continue to issue you with the credit certificate. Then the second part, which is the introduction, is that the value-added tax withholding agent who withholds tax under subsection 1 and pays the tax to the Commissioner General is considered to have paid the amount withheld to the withholdee for the purposes of any claim by the withholdee for payment of the amount withheld. So this is what the Commissioner General is saying, that we implement this, then the credit should be on your ledger because it is treated as an amount withheld on your behalf. So it's not business purchases like for you to capture on your return. You know, this capturing on the return means that I can, if I want to know your true turnover, I can gross up your sales, your purchases. But this is not purchases. Do you understand? So for accounting purposes, it wasn't right. I think it was out of convenience that it was done at that time like that. But now it will follow the same treatment as we have with the income tax. So what we should be asking is whether it will be on a ledger waiting for you. And so we'll work on that. So that is in respect of the withholding VAT. So I'll go back to the first question on COVID-19 network charge. I think that is a mistake. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while for the 10%. Okay, so this one, I think we responded on the table that all the flat rates had moved to standard. So the real estate is no more at a flat rate. Unused invoices. I don't think this particular situation of being migrated as a result of the reform requires the audit we mentioned is to know your turnover. Okay. But if you walk to a tax office to request for an invoice book, the standard invoice book, because you're a flat rate, the slide change that booklet. I don't think you need an audit to get the replacement done for you. Okay. This case is a special case where the taxpayer is on a flat rate in the old regime and transacted, but the person he transacted with wanted a standard rate invoice. So that one, he has to go to the tax office, and there are requirements for doing that. But this reform and transitional arrangement, you can walk into a tax office, present the old books, and get replacement. Is that okay? Or okay, that's easy. Okay. As for the one-off VAT people, you know, it was a special arrangement. I think there is confusion there. Okay, if you know I haven't addressed your concern, you can raise your hand and then we go back to it. Okay. It's in respect of the invoice swap.
So he said VAT withholding. VAT withholding.
Oh, okay. Oh, VAT withholding. All right, fine. All right.
Yeah, so regarding the VAT withholding, what happens if the credit is not there? Do we have to wait like we do in the current CIT withholding, which is sometimes disturbing because you are withheld, and for some time you still don't have the credit, and this can tie up working capital.
I think that's why we are calling this a reform. So we're going to put all that into perspective and make sure the reform covers every facet of it, so that it becomes more convenient and simple for businesses to operate. Hope that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. That's for the one-off. I think it's one-off.
Yeah, the one-off is not to be encouraged. It's not something we are encouraging, but we cannot also do away with it for expediency. So it should be few and far in between. It shouldn't be a regular occurrence. It shouldn't be a regular occurrence. So we're going to put an eye on the one-off and ensure that all such taxpayers migrate. Because, see, a taxpayer can go to this office and do one-off. The same taxpayer can go to another office and do one-off. And then you see that he will be crossing the 750. So it is going to put an eye to the ball and ensure that we kill that kind of system. So it should be very, very, very real for that to happen. So once you want to deal with a state institution or that, just do voluntary registration and then you are good to go. I hope that's clear.
Thank you. So my questions are two small questions. The first one is coming on the back of the advice that those small businesses which the big companies are dealing with, and for the need for a VAT registered business or VAT invoice, your admonition is that they should do a voluntary registration. Okay, I think it's going to be counterproductive in the sense that the idea of shifting from the 200,000 threshold to the 750, you have rightly explained, was to a shift from the place where small so-called mushroom businesses were all on the VAT scheme. Now, for the fear that we have for GRA, okay, and for all the powers that are available to GRA, my fear is that very soon, go for voluntary, we will end up getting those small mushroom businesses in the name of going for voluntary back onto the VAT system, where what we are trying to prevent might actually happen. So my admonition and suggestion, if GRA has audited a company and realized that indeed this company's turnover is just 150,000 or 200,000, can the GRA not certify that, yes, this company, we ourselves have audited the company, we confirm that by their threshold, they cannot be on the VAT. So whoever is doing business can go ahead and do business with them, provided they show that, yes, this is my certificate, they have audited me, and they have confirmed that I am not registrable under the VAT. Is that possible? That's my first question. Second question, may I go ahead?
Go on.
Second question has to do with the issue about enforcement action. And I think that when the gentleman was speaking so many times, he mentioned enforcement action. It puts a lot of fear in even the bravest of all of us. In December, just this past December, under the name of meeting a revenue target, a lot of offices, I had my office also even being locked up. And in the 870, specifically under section 60, it said that yes, the GRA had powers to seal off premises if certain conditions were met. But even that one, it said that the GRA needed a court order to do that. I'm not finding a similar provision in this new act. And my question is, if the GRA will pack a van full of 4 strong men in the name of enforcement to try to drive everybody from the office to be able to lock up the office, what options are available to me, a small man like?
Last question. Good afternoon, and thank you, GRA. My name is Marcus from Dynamic Data Solutions. I have a transaction that transcends or cut across Act 870, the old Act, and Act 1151. That is, I took a transaction in December, concluded an invoice issued in December around 15th. I have 30 days credit to make payments, which takes me to January 15. So if I'm making payments now, which of the routes apply? Am I applying 870 or 115? Yeah.
Please, we'll take the third person.
Thank you. I may have to look for the specific provision, but you'll find this in the, I think the LI. Usually, I mean, the tax provision, you don't bind the government and the tax provisions with your contract arrangement. You have an arrangement to buy and sell, pay later. That is between you and your suppliers. You cannot commit government to that contract to say that where there is a change in law, it will not apply or affect this transaction. It's rather government who will say that that should apply to you. Do you get my point? So my understanding of the law is that you have to apply the new law, because at the time you are writing the contract, you know that tax laws can change at any time, and when it is changed, you are supposed to comply with it. So the new arrangement, I have seen contracts where they said it excludes tax. So what they did was that they placed the responsibility, any additional tax burden on one party. So it's not like taking it completely out. It says that, okay, this is a contract we have today. In case there is change in tax law and it will have impact on this contract, you should bear it. So between the two parties, they know who will take it up. But at this point, from 1st January, the prevailing tax rate is what?
Yeah, on your submission about how GRA would deal with this voluntary registration as administrative decision, will take care of that. And then on the enforcement is rooted in the Revenue Administration Bill, Revenue Administration Act. So the Revenue Administration Act deals with the administrative aspect of the technical law. So you will find that in the Revenue Administration Act. Thank you.
Emilia Ampumabroni. Please, my question is, what happens to the taxpayer who has physical stock but no invoice to back it?
It doesn't have evidence, so no invoice. You can always go for invoice from your supplier. Oh? Invoice is key. Oh, missing invoice. There's provision for answer. You always go back to your supplier to give you a carbon copy, and the other copy. Okay.
I mean, when we are doing the audit, because we have to do so, for the flat rate taxpayer who has physical stock there, but no invoice to cover it,
How should we treat it, please?
The rule is clear. You need to support. You need to have found the returns. You need to have disclosed that one first and foremost. The evidence has to be there in terms of the invoices, and then you see for the removing VAT, the invoices are in the system. You can always know. By the time you are doing a manual, how do we, convince ourselves that this truly happened? And we are not just moving stock. You see, I can move stuff from Kojú Mensah's store to come and fill my shop for you. And then when you are done with me, I move it to the next shop. It's possible. The only way to control that is a documentary evidence. So for me, no invoice, no both claim. I think that should be clearer.
Please, my name is Michael. So my question is, the companies that are relieved from paying NHIO and Get Fund, how do we treat the return now? Do they still pay and request for a refund, or like?
Are you talking about VPOs?
No, companies that are relieved from paying, or they transact with companies that are relieved from paying NHIO and Get Fund.
Oh, like the mining companies?
Yes, mining support.
Okay, like the mining support services. Under this law, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I hope it's clear. So, with the VAT, we should be able to determine how much NHIL you are paying, and also the Get Fund levy that you are paying. And once we know one, we should be able to determine the other one too. So they are now matching in tandem. You get it? So there's no kind of relativity. You can pay this, you can pay that. This law doesn't come up with that kind of relativity. It's uniform. Thank you.
Is it the letter that was issued to the mining companies issue under a particular law, and it was clearly stated in the law, in the letter, that it was the arrangement under that law. The moment that law had been repealed, everything that operates under that law is no more operational. So the new law is what operates. So I think few of the companies that supply to those, and there are only 4 mining companies, they seek clarification. And we even have engagement with some of the, I think I have engagement with 1 out of the 4 mining companies. We made it clear to them. The letter was under it at 870. That at 870 had been repealed.
Next set of questions.
Hello. Just as we are here, we are all understanding that control and verification has just begun. For us to get to where we want to, there should be a cooperation between us, GRA and the taxpayers. What I've noticed is that when we come for verification, there are a lot of excuses. Yes, it's the same officers who will go on to other taxpayers. So if you waste our time, your neighbor will not have us as early as possible. We have just crossed over to the new year. The euphoria has ended. All sicknesses must be suspended. Yes, because when we come, that is where you are going to tell us that the person on this schedule is sick. Our document has remained here. It is here, it is there. Wasting our time. Please let us stop that. Once you are here, you know that we are going to get there. It has taken off. Please, go and prepare your document. Yes, we are coming there. Don't give us excuses. And what pains us is that even at the end of the audit, the post-audit discussion can take a decade. What is going on? If you have a liability, you come and pay. If you don't have, fine. Just listen to it, knowing you don't want to sit down. Please, we are begging you. Let's all change. This is 2026. Thank you.
Someone has a question. Okay. Sorry, Charlie.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel from ABS Glazy. My question is, supposing I've given a quotation to a client in December with the VAT component, the levy and the get fund. If he's ready to pay this month, am I supposed to do a new quote for him or should take the old money that I've agreed with him? Thank you.
Hello? Okay, I think this is the very one I was responding to earlier. The gentleman who asked a similar question, you need to come clearly again. But this particular one is quotation. Contract not concluded. Okay, so that one you have to write a new one. But the other one, please, what exactly did you say? Invoice had been issued. So the contract is okay. Yeah.
No. What? One at a time.
Hello. Please, let's do it.
I have a client here. He can explain to you. It's also true. You see, whenever we give a quote to, let's say, 10 homes, that's the agreement. So anytime they're ready, they will pay their amount. So now that there's a new law with the 1% COVID out, I'm not going to do a new quotation for them to pay. Since they are, no. Whatever we have sent to them is the final amount. So as when they pay, it's what we are taking. So now that they are ready to pay in January, those quotation or invoice I've given to 10 homes, are they paying the same amount or I have to revise the quote that I've given to them? We I think
Hello.
No.
Hello. Please hold on.
Okay.
Let me read a provision for you. Let's see whether it satisfies your. This is regulation 46, the regulation governing the act. It says a contract entered into before and after the effective date of the tax. That's the heading. And it says one, where a contract was concluded between two or more parties before the effective date of the tax, and no provision relating to the tax was made in the contract, the supplier shall recover the tax due on any taxable supplies made under the contract after the effective date of the tax. It said that contract was concluded and provision had not been made for the change. So it has to be recovered. So that's where I am coming from. But we can have conversation at the back end. Thank you.
Okay, so this session to a close. The resource persons will be around. Those who would like to have one-on-one interaction with them can do so after we close. So I would like to invite Area Director, Mr. Joseph Asari, to give us his closing remarks. Okay, I think he has delegated Deputy Commissioner in charge of Communication and Public Affairs, Mrs. Flores Asante, to do that on his behalf. A round of applause for her, please.
Thank you very much.
an area of opportunity. We are very, very impressed with the by the numbers that turned up today. And I think that let me sit down. That taxpayers have in the new act. I'm sure we are all very happy, one, that the COVID-19 levy has been removed. And I'm sure all of us have been saying it now, because for previous forums, everywhere we went to, everybody is saying that remove COVID, remove COVID. Now COVID is gone. Aren't we happy? We are. Thank you very much. Two, we want COVID back. Two, the transitional arrangements are very important for taxpayers because one, we need to know what is next for us. If COVID is gone, the decoupling has been done. What are the implications? What are the things we have to do? And I think this forum has really taught us what we should do. I encourage all of us, now that we have the new Act 1151, please, it's on our website. Our guidelines are also on the website. Please take time to read them. It's very important because this is the honeymoon period. We have a transitional period. And I'm very happy about what the gentleman said about enforcement. Much as the law or the law says that we should teach you what to do, the law also says that when you default, we should do what? Enforce. Those are the two parts of the tax law. Please, we've had time. We have over 200 people here, taxpayers here. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. We have had opportunity to ask questions, a lot of questions. We've clarified all the issues that have to do with the transition. Please, let us try to take them in, go back to our businesses, enforce them. At the same time, when we are not too sure of what to do, we have all the options. One, your tax office is there. The area director is here. Most of our tax offices have representatives here. Please go back to your area office, your TSC. Two, our call lines are open. We have a hotline that is open. It's free. You can call. We will answer you. The website is there. All the avenues are open to you. Please take advantage of them. Then when you finish and you are also filing returns on the portal, you can get feedback on all those channels. Please, let's use them. And then please let's not wait for enforcement groups to come to you. When you are not sure, go back to your area office, go back to your TSC, your relationship manager. Some of you have them. When the enforcement people come, even then, once they write to you that you have defaulted, please, quickly, it's like Bible, quickly go to them, pay up, because we are all here because of what? VAT or tax. Please, let's comply, make sure that everything goes well. At the end of the day, if VAT is doing well, like Thomas said, government will be forced. The same way we force government to remove COVID-19 to reduce the tax rates because more people are paying, we are more compliant. Bottom line is revenue. What do? VAT can also come down. It has a potential. So thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to a lot of talking that we've done on the reforms. We are grateful for your time. And we are in a win-win situation between us and our taxpayers. We are still your friends until we come with the enforcement team. Thank you all so much for everything.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold for smaller businesses also raised. This morning we visited a number of the shops and we are satisfied that all the shops that we have visited have actually configured their systems and they are applying the new VAT rates for that matter. We've also had engagement with consumers, and we note that their satisfaction with the reduction in the rate of the VAT, which in essence affirms what the Minister of Finance announced, that the reforms is giving back over 6.5 billion into the pockets of Ghanaians. And this morning, those who have been with us, you've witnessed how the consumers enjoying that. For us as GRA, we continue to appeal to businesses and individuals who are business owners that we would like you to go on voluntary compliance. Comply with VAT, charge VAT, implement VAT on your systems, or issue VAT invoice as the case may be. And for all consumers, as you are enjoying the new reforms, also demand your VAT invoice anytime you pay all of us. Thank you once again and happy to all of you.
If I sell special fried rice and a chilled bottle of Sobolo to a customer for a total price of 100 cedis, I need to calculate the taxes on that amount. Here is how it works. Get Fund Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. National Health Insurance Levy 2.5% of 100 cedis gives you 2 cedis 50 pesos. VAT 15% of 100 cedis gives you 15 cedis. Finally, I add this 20 cedis tax to the original price of 100 cedis. So, the final amount the customer pays is 120 cedis.
This morning, GRA, we came to visit some of the shops to witness firsthand for how the implementation of the VAT reforms are going. As you are all aware, this is a comprehensive reforms that is reducing the rate, is abolishing the COVID levy, removing the coupling, and also ensuring that the threshold
See